Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, bring you comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching the Comic Hero Show. Now kick that intro! This week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And, hey, Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays. It's when you just reflect on all the things that you're thankful for. I mean, now I know this year has been very difficult, especially with the pandemic. And then there have been other things that have come along the way that have made it very hard as well. But we just need to be thankful that we're still here, that we're still amongst the living. And I don't know about you, but that's something to be very proud of, something to shout about, And I hope that whoever's watching this, I just hope that you're thankful to still be here. I mean, it's this Thanksgiving, because of the pandemic, is taking a different tone. I mean, we can't be around a lot of our loved ones, due to having to socially distance ourselves according to the CDC guidelines. And I don't know about you, but we really need to listen to these people, because it's getting bad out there again, and it really saddens me when someone tests positive for COVID, and it saddens me even more when someone dies from it. And we just have to be very mindful and stop being annoyed and tired of this pandemic, because we may have had enough of it, but it's still there. And until every state in America and every country throughout the world has flattened the curve and allowed given all these healthcare workers a break by not testing positive and filling up all these hospitals, and waiting patiently for the vaccines to be fully distributed. I mean, it's going to get better it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I would rather it to get better before it gets worse. But again, every year, whenever I do the show on Thanksgiving, I always encourage y'all not to watch the show on Thanksgiving. But, with the year that it's been and us having to socially distance ourselves from each other, I get it. I mean, I can understand, because this COVID-19, this whole pandemic is frightening. It's frightening for so many folks, and it's even frightening for me. And so I understand if it frightens you. I understand if you want to distance yourself. So with that being said, you have my permission to watch this episode of the show on Thanksgiving. One of the things about this show, now the subject matter is comics or anything within the realm. However, when opportunities present themselves, as I have been doing for a very long time, I like to, I celebrate holidays. I raise awareness of certain causes. And I just flat out show love to people, because, in the midst of fear, in the midst of anger, in the midst of any other type of adversity that we may face. And I'm not just saying this because it's also a song by Lionel Richie, but love conquers all. And that's what I want to do. I just want to spread love. The only way that we're going to get through any kind of adversity is through love. And that's my aim. Not just here on the show, but my aim in life in general. And I just hope y'all have a happy Thanksgiving. And if you're watching this and it's Thanksgiving, again, you have my permission to watch just for this year. Now, I'm only saying that in terms of if they're family around it. I mean, now I used to say, I always say, if you're around family, don't watch. But if you're around family, get them to watch as well. because you just never know who you may reach. I mean, you just never know who might need need something to smile about. All right, it's time to give away a free T-shirt. All right, on last week's episode, I asked, true or false, Jason Todd has taken up almost every mantle in the Bat family. Now, I originally thought the answer to this was true, but it's actually false. He's taken up every mantle in the Bat family except Nightwing. And 3 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered... Oh, by the way, the answer is false. So 3 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their names have been entered in the drawing for a free tee, and that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is... Jake Young from Springfield, Missouri. So congratulations, Jake. You win yourself a free comic book tee. All right, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is a Fantastic Four question. And it's a hard question, but the hints make it easy. Which actor and comedian played the voice of the Human Torch on the Fantastic Four radio drama in 1975? Now here are the hints. The first hint: this actor and comedian was on the cast of Saturday Night Live from 1976 to 1980. The second hint: this actor and comedian was the first ever guest on Late Night with David Letterman in 1982. And then the third and final hint, and this is the dead giveaway. This actor and comedian has starred in movies like Stripes, Caddyshack, Lost in Translation, Zombieland, Ghostbusters, and Groundhog Day. Bet y'all get it now. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in the drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. Alright, now D'Angelo Blue from Warren, Ohio has requested a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, and this one features a zombie going up against a demonic animal. Representing DC, we have Solomon Grundy, and representing Marvel, we have Demon Bear. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Solomon Grundy versus Demon Bear. Solomon Grundy possesses superhuman strength and stamina, healing factor, near invulnerability, virtual indestructibility, and immortality. Demon Bear possesses negative emotion empowerment, teleportation, superhuman strength, shape-shifting, and corruption of human souls. Who would win? Demon Bear wouldn't have much of a chance in this fight. He would try to corrupt Grundy's soul, but is unable to because Grundy is a zombie and his soul is already corrupted. He would then try negative emotion empowerment, but to no avail. Demon Bear relies on shapeshifting and shapeshifts into Grundy's alter ego before his death, Cyrus Gold. This enrages Grundy and he takes a swing at Demon Bear, but the latter teleports before the former lands a hit. Demon Bear then reappears and begins to choke out Grundy. Grundy becomes even more enraged and sucker punches Demon Bear. He then ends the fight by punching right through Demon Bear's midsection, right through his spine. Solomon Grundy wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Thank you, D'Angelo Blue, for that fight. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I'll have another one for next week. Now it's time for Comically Speaking. So without further ado, let's talk comics! Alright, there's only one thing I'm going to talk about in this segment of Comically Speaking, and I was going to talk about it on last week's episode, but at the last minute I decided to leave it for this week. Next year, in February, Marvel's coming out with a brand new series. It's called X-Men Legends, and it's going to feature the greatest X-Men creators returning to their original runs, with all new in-continuity stories to tie loose ends, resolve long-standing plot danglers, and uncover long-hidden truths that will shake up the past, present, and future of Marvel's Merry Mutants. And some of the creators that are coming back are creators like Chris Claremont, Louise Simonson, Larry Hama, and Peter David. And Fabian Nicieza, who co-created Deadpool, is going to write the very first story arc, and it's going to solve one of the biggest X-Men mysteries of all time, and that's of Adam X and his connection to the Summers clan. Now we thought that was solved in a miniseries called X-Men Deadly Genesis with Vulcan, whose real name is Gabriel Summers. But then we found out that there's yet another, and I honestly can't wait to read it. I think this is going to be great because the one thing about the whole X-Men mythos, there have been so many things that were left unsaid, and dating back to when the book came, right after the book came out in 1963, when Stan and Jack did it, and I would love to see. I mean, this is good. I mean, this is huge because wouldn't y'all like to see some plot holes or some things being explained again, explained, things that we see now that we're like, hey, how'd that happen, or hey, how'd that happen, or whoa, wow, what's this, what's that, I can't wait to read it. So X-Men Deadly Genesis, not Deadly Genesis, X-Men Legends, coming out in February of 2021. Can't wait. Alright, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
Alright, first up is The Amazing Spider-Man number 53. Avengers number 38. Batman number 102. Cable number 6. Captain America number 25. Captain Marvel number 23. Fantastic Four number 26. Hellions number 6. Iron Man number 3. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 111. Thor number 9. And finally, X-Force number 14. Alright, that's 12, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 10,299. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. Which actor and comedian played the voice of the Human Torch on the Fantastic Four radio drama in 1975? Now, here's the hints again. The first hint, this actor and comedian was on the cast of Saturday Night Live from 1976 to 1980. The second hint, this actor and comedian was the very first guest on Late Night with David Letterman in 1982. And then the third and final hint, and this is the dead giveaway, this actor and comedian has been in movies such as Stripes, Caddyshack, Lost in Translation, Zombieland, Ghostbusters, and Groundhog Day. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Jake Young from Springfield, Missouri, who won a free tee on this week's episode. Now I'm going to go ahead and say this. Then I'm going to go ahead with the road ahead for the show. Again, a lot of the holidays that we have celebrated ever since this pandemic had started 8 months ago, they've taken like very somber turns because we can't gather in large groups, or or if we do, you're in danger of spreading the COVID-19. But we just have to face facts, folks, that even though we're tired of COVID-19, it's still there. We're still having to deal with it until we start following the CDC guidelines and we start being patient with all the doctors and scientists that are working around the clock to come up with a vaccine. There are talks of a vaccine, but until it starts being distributed, until COVID-19 is something that could easily be controlled, we're gonna have to go by these guidelines. There are way too many people testing positive, way too many people dying, and we just have to be patient. I know this is hard. Sometimes it's hard, but then I have to face facts and think, okay, I may be tired of it, but I still need to go by the guidelines. So if you're going to go somewhere, keep your distance from people, wear a mask, and then also keep some hand sanitizer in your car or car, truck, or whatever vehicle you may drive. All right, now here's the road ahead for the show. Now next month, every episode of the show except for the final episode will be Christmas episodes. Then that's episodes 335 through 338. Now, as I've said on social media, I am arranging classic Christmas songs, and some of them that I've done are songs like Sleigh Ride, This Christmas, the Christmas song, and Christmas Time Is Here. And I'm also going to work on some hymns to do, like Silent Night, or It Came Upon a Midnight Clear, or Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Christmas is one of my favorite times of years. It's a time of giving. It's a time of reflection because we're at the end of a calendar year. And at the same time, it because of the pandemic, it's going to take a much somber turn than it has in years past. But however, there is still nothing wrong with celebrating. You can celebrate with yourself. You can celebrate with whoever lives with you. You can celebrate with folks that live. Just don't go in large groups, because we need to start being obedient to the CDC guidelines, and we need to get rid of this virus once and for all. And the only way we're going to have to do this is listen to these doctors and scientists. There are way too many people testing positive again, and there's also too many people dying, and we just have to do what they ask. It's not that hard. But even though we're having to do that, just make the best out of this level of adversity, because that's what I'm doing. All right, I'm Victor Nolly on a Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 335, the very first Christmas episode. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone.